In June 2026, Vercel, which routes AI traffic for thousands of production applications, reported something amazing. Open weight models were handling 29% of all the tokens on their platform. This is up from about 11% only 2 months earlier. But it hides an important truth. The open models accounted for less than 4% of total spend. That means that nearly a third of the work was completed for a rounding error of the cost. And that's not a trend, that's a sign of a structural shift. Here's 3 reasons why enterprises are pulling AI off the cloud and onto infrastructure that they control. Enterprises are bringing AI off the cloud and onto local infrastructure for data control. Let's think about what flows through an AI prompt at a typical company. Well, a semiconductor engineer asking for help with a design block creates a prompt that contains proprietary RTL. A pharma researcher's chat history holds trial data. A bank's document summarizer is reading customer files. Every one of those prompts puts sensitive data in motion. And when inference runs on someone else's servers, that data travels under someone else's terms of service. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said this the loudest. In a July 2026 post called The Reverse Information Paradox, he argued that enterprises using AI pay for intelligence twice, once in cash and again in the proprietary knowledge they hand over to make it useful. So the CEO of the company that ships Copilot to hundreds of millions of seats and holds the biggest stake in OpenAI is publicly telling enterprises to keep their data inside their own walls. Do not train clauses don't fix this. They're a promise, not an actual control. So running the model on your own infrastructure is a control. When you self-host an open weight model like Llama, DeepSeek, or Qwen, your data never leaves the building. Enterprises are bringing AI off the cloud and onto local infrastructure to improve their economics. An AI chatbot user might ask one question and read the answer, but an AI agent loops. It reads files, it calls tools, and retries until it iterates its way to an answer, burning tokens the entire time. Companies that rolled out coding agents in 2025 got invoices that were nearly impossible to forecast. And here's the interesting part. The Frontier AI Lab's own playbook points toward open weights. Anthropic tells its developers to match the model to the task, to route simple, high-volume work to a cheap, fast model, and to save the expensive reasoning model for decisions that actually need it. Now, we can follow that logic one step further. If the smart move is a portfolio of models sized to the job, nothing says every tier has to be rented. The high volume, well understood work like classification, extraction, document processing, that's exactly where a self-hosted open weight model at roughly 1/10 the token cost earns its keep. And that's why by mid-2026, models like OpenAI's own open weight GPT OSS and NVIDIA's Nemotron are landing inside enterprise data centers. They're even shipped by Dell for deployment on day one. The Frontier API stays for the hard problems, but the rest of the work can run on hardware you already own. Enterprises are bringing AI off the cloud and onto local infrastructure to ensure data sovereignty and ownership. For a meaningful slice of enterprise work, sending data to a cloud AI service isn't a preference issue. It's actually governed by law. This includes clinical trial data, export controlled designs, classified programs, examiner scrutinized financial records, regulators, and data sovereignty rules that dictate where that data can go. That's why governments across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia are pushing sovereign AI initiatives that require national border control over both the model and the data. And sovereignty over a model you can only reach through someone else's API, it isn't sovereignty at all. There's a fourth piece to this, owning the asset itself. If you download the weights and pin the exact version, there's no silent updates, no vendor deprecating your model on their schedule. You can fine-tune it on your own data and keep that as intellectual property. And it doesn't stop at the data center. Apple now ships an on-device AI framework. Tools like Llama, LM Studio, they all put a capable model on an engineer's laptop in an afternoon. The same force pulling AI out of the cloud and into the data center is now pulling it all the way to the device. Data control, cost control, and regulatory sovereignty are the three forces all pushing enterprises in one direction. AI is moving off of rented infrastructure and onto infrastructure that enterprises own. But owning the model means owning what used to be the provider's job too. The safety stack, the patching, the monitoring. Adopting open weights safely means building that environment first, not just bolting it on afterwards. So, if you need better answers for the AI you're building, check out Ensage AI at Zentera.net.